Hello, guys. Welcome to our show. Today we discuss about decision making struggles. I have these struggles. My customers have these struggles because we don't know what kind of future will be. Sometimes we need to make these decisions and often wrong decisions, but it's part of the game. And I love failing. Like I can learn from failures. I made a lot of terrible mistakes. That's why I think today we are going to discuss more about that with Dr. Benjamin Ritter. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. That intro gets me so pumped up. It's like the
Yeah,
music
my
and the energy. I'm in. I love it.
yeah. I think my designers, video designers, made these struggle decisions. What kind of promo to create because I usually don't limit them. With their creativity, I don't tell them, please create something like this. No, I usually tell them, please create something new, simple, in 20 seconds. So yeah, because if you have long promo, people can bounce even if it's great because they want to get actual content. Okay, Benjamin, before we start, just tell more about yourself, experience, background, about making these struggles in decisions and anything that can help our listeners to learn more about you.
Yeah, thanks for that intro. So, I have a background in organizational and talent development. I mainly focus on executive leadership coaching as well as talent development, design, and delivery. So, if there's a learning program or something needs to happen in an organization where people need to learn certain skills, develop as leaders, the organization itself wants to retain that talent, they'll tend to come to me. But then I also work one on one with those leaders to help them really feel more fulfilled in their careers. And all that comes down to, though, is decision making. So, are you making decisions that align with who you are at your core, your values? And do you feel that you are accountable for making those decisions? And do you feel empowered to make those decisions? So, do you feel like you have permission? When in reality, I work with leaders to help them feel like the only person they need permission from is themselves. And we talk about how to structure their life and their environment and their work to make sure that that's a reality.
Nice, nice. Love it, love it. Okay, let's talk about executives. Because the main problem what I see, that these people are so busy. They have many things to do. They have a lot of responsibility. They need to develop, innovate, to find the way how to grow the company. And according to a few studies, customers usually implement 40% of all recommendations. So if consultants like you, like me, can provide some list of recommendations, what we need to fix, how to go ahead, they usually implement only 40%. So can you tell how you find the way to overcome this struggle? I mean, like to transfer data, especially if we are talking about C levels, because these people need to transfer this data to other departments, other people, other decision makers. Any tips about that?
Well, you don't give them the other 40% or 60%. There we go.
Yeah.
You have to do some math. And the other piece is you don't give them the decisions. You don't tell them what to do. So when it comes to coaching and leadership development and for them to go work with their teams, most of the time, the ideas is I know what to do, I'm going to tell you what to do. But when I'm working with a client, and a lot of best practices in leadership development as well as decision making is they have to develop the decisions so that they feel ownership around them and so that it aligns with their capabilities and skills and what they feel comfortable with. And then they can go implement that. And so all the stuff that you wanted to teach them and want to tell them that you think is important, if you still get to the outcome, all that stuff doesn't matter. So we have to reduce what we're telling people in terms of like the things that we think they need to do and instead have them figure out what they want to do and then hold them accountable to that.
hmm I want to ask you, let me share my story. In my life, I made a lot of terrible decisions because I didn't have experience. In 2008, I lost my financial company in Ukraine when the world crisis came. So I lost all my investments. I got a lot of debts, but yeah, I worked hard 5 years to get it back, because that was equal to 3,000 average salaries in Ukraine a lot. But yeah, I did it by working hard to find another project. And the second time I felt in 2013 when the Ukrainian revolution destroyed my second business. So it happened. So, but I got experience, and that time I didn't have bad feeling because I got experience. Of course, I lost resources, but that time I didn't have debts. More important for me. So, can you tell about making right decisions? Okay, we don't know. We don't have this crystal ball. If someone has, it might not work because I took my crystal ball a few times. It didn't work when I buy, when I usually buy crypto prices, stock price, and I got it. It doesn't work. So we can make terrible wrong decisions. Any tips about making this process simple?
I'd say the only terrible decisions are the ones that hurt other people and hurt yourself. And I can't even say that those are terrible decisions. I think we have to take away the right or wrong label to a decision.
Mhm.
So when we make a decision, we either have a preferred outcome, a less preferred outcome, or an outcome we did not want at all. And it's not that it was a wrong decision or a right decision. It was that what the decision led to wasn't something that I would have wanted more. Because in all honesty, we're able to make a quote unquote wrong decision and be okay. And so if something happened that we didn't prefer, we can learn from that and maybe make a decision differently in the future so that we get an outcome that we do prefer. But if we take away this right and wrong, then I think we're more likely to take action, because the worst decision you can make is not making a decision,
Yeah,
because then
yeah.
because then you don't learn. And that's if you want something to change. And
I
so if
remember
we could,
when,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
No, go.
Yeah, I remember when Mark Zuckerberg said about taking the risk. He told that the biggest risk is not to take the risk. So, yeah, because I think failure is part of the process. You don't know what actually will work. So, we need to take the risk to experiment.
And life is about learning from our decisions so that we then make different decisions in the future, hopefully, that lead to more preferred outcomes. And so I just want to focus more so on preferred outcomes. And when I say that, usually a preferred outcome is something that creates the wealth that you want, the relationships that you want, the lifestyle that you want. And I like to look at it as, does it create an environment that aligns with how you want to live, right? What your values are. Not focused on achievements or validation or success, but more so, does this create an environment where I can be happy, where I can be fulfilled, where I feel more patient, where I feel calm, where I feel content? Those are the decisions that I want people to make. And so if you have decisions in front of you and it's difficult to make a decision in terms of maybe they seem equal, well, if they seem equal, great, just pick one because they're equal. It doesn't matter which one you pick. But if you start looking at them and say, which one is going to lead to an environment that I'm going to feel better in, either better relationships, maybe it's a certain type of money, maybe it's a certain type of lifestyle, maybe it's a certain type of impact that you're going to have in the world. Even if you don't know what else is going to happen, if it's going to take you one step forward in that direction, then pick that decision. And I think a lot of times we know in our gut the decisions that we should be making, not because they're more comfortable, but because they feel more right. And even if we are afraid of making that decision, then I'd still suggest making it, but then explore the things that you're afraid of. So is it financial risk? So yes, some decisions can put you in financial risk. So then take some time and build a financial safety net. Like the decisions don't have to happen tomorrow. You don't have to there's no timeline usually on a decision. Very rarely is there is. If there is one, then tell the person to just back off and give you a couple more days or a month, which usually that can happen. But you can create safety nets to any risk usually that you can see in front of you. And it's also important to remember that most of the time, and so almost all the time, you make a decision, you're still going to be okay, as long as it doesn't bring harm to somebody else or to yourself.
Yeah. It's a pity that we didn't have this conversation in 2008 before the world crisis, because I remember, yeah.
No, things happen, right? Things like that happen and you can't plan for them.
Yeah, of course. But, all my investments were like all in, I put all eggs in one basket, everything, even more. I took a lot of debts. I didn't have experience. Yeah, because when I graduated from my university, I like I worked in 3 banks and got uh, normal salary, just regular. Then after launching this business, my revenue increased 30 times, just in 6 months. But I didn't have experience to handle finance. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't think about that I need to have this reserve fund, that life is not white all the time. So things can happen. Yeah. But yeah, today I'm okay. I understand that was at that time I didn't have enough skills to overcome what happened. So that's why I usually recommend to anyone it's better to learn before taking the risk. Just spend time, yeah, learn about that. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I
wanna
have
say
to say,
something? Yeah.
because I work with clients who a lot of times want to change something in their career, but they're afraid because, well, am I going to lose all the skills that I learned in the past? I'm going to lose the money that I'm making now. What if I make the wrong decision? What will people think? They're going to be okay. Like, and everyone is going to be okay. You're going to maybe go through a year or two of some struggle. It's usually maybe a little bit more than that, maybe. But ultimately you're going to be okay. So if we look at the fears, like, oh, all my skills are going to be for nothing if they change, industries. No, you still have all those skills. Those skills didn't go anywhere.
Of course, yeah.
How are you going to tell your story? Your story matters. So tell a story that leverages everything that you've learned to be able to capitalize on the new opportunities that you're trying to create. Or what are people going to think of me? Well, you're not really probably going to surround yourself with people that are going to think negatively of you in this new career. That's why you're going to that new career. Or money, so save a little bit up before, or get other streams of income, or work part-time and still operate in that space for a bit. Like, there's solutions to the things we're afraid of. So usually the things we're afraid of aren't the excuses that we use. Usually it's, am I going to fail?
Yeah, yeah.
Or,
By the
or what am
way,
I going to miss out on? Yeah.
yeah, I think all big entrepreneurs, including Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, all of them failed many times. Yeah, because they are human beings, so we don't know what actually will work, but you can find out, And you remind me another story about myself. I remember I decided to launch a new project, and but I didn't know anything about this project. I just found the gap that market needs this product, and I decided to hire a team of specialists. I did it. I hired them. I invested a lot of money in 3 years. 3 years I invested all this money, but at that time I hated Monday. I loved Friday, and I got it. I can't go ahead with that. So and I quit. I gave up because that was the wrong decision to take the project that I don't know. I felt that experts can decide this issue and we can earn a lot of money. Today, I got experience. Never take any project because of money. You need to enjoy the process because it's one life. We have this life. You need to enjoy. I enjoy. I can work on Saturday evening, at night, Sunday, because I love it. For me, it's like hobby to watch TV or read the book. So yeah. Okay. Uh, I wanna. Yeah, you wanna say something? Yeah.
Yeah, something about that. When it comes to doing work that you feel really good about, or doing work because you think you have to do the work for the money, or for the title, ask yourself, if nobody else existed in the world, no social media existed, no fancy cars existed, and it was just you, would you do the thing that you want to do, you want to make a decision about? I think often we make decisions for other people, and what I want us to turn this lens on is making decisions for ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. And I usually ask myself, for example, I can play ping pong all the time. I'm not waiting when someone will pay money for my hobby. I can read books. because I love it. I enjoy. I'm not waiting when someone will pay for my hobby. I think any job should be the same. You need to love it. As Mark Twain said, if you find your life in job, you don't work any day in your life. Yeah, I completely agree with that. And money will come if you enjoy the process, because you can overwork others, overcome them by working hard, because you can replace other hobbies like watching TV, wasting time by, I don't know, by playing poker, anything, online games. Uh, I want to ask you about personalization. For example, if you have a new customer and you need to learn the business, because I think, for example, I don't know how to rely to any expert if they don't know what kind of business I have, what pitfalls I have, many challenges in the process. So can you tell how to learn the business and personalize experience of helping others to make these decisions?
You just ask questions. It's
Hmm.
really that simple. We talked about in the beginning when this episode started, people only retain 40% of what you tell them. Well, stop telling them stuff. So
Hmm.
personalization comes from asking questions. And you ask one question and you listen. And then you ask a question based on what they answered. Not go question to question to question to question. But it actually should be a list of questions that build off of each other. And then when you can help a client understand their own problems or business better than them because you listened, they're going to work with you forever. They're never going to leave you because they think that you're
Hmm.
priceless. But you only get there by asking questions.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay, for example, right now I'm developing my AI tool with team. By the way, I signed a new contract to develop this tool because the previous team couldn't do it. So yeah, I think that's okay. We are going to create this tool, and this tool will be different from other tools that we have today, including ChatGPT and many other well-known tools, because it can help. I mean, like to create content for existing websites. So just put your website, you can get content, and we are working hard to get this tool. I don't know the deadline, yeah, it depends. I think like right now we have 90 days, but I'm sure that it always depends. So please ask questions me if I need to make some decision. I don't know if I struggle to make decisions during the process. So I'm interested the
Yeah, what's
practical
the
tips
decision?
how to do it.
What's the decision that you need to make?
My decision to create something new. Don't copy others. Create new tool that webmasters have struggled because today it's hard to create content at scale, high quality content. And of course, we have this AI. It's hard to ignore this technology, but we still need human touch. So we are going to help them, especially about updating content. If you have website, many pages, it's really it's a big struggle not to update content at scale. So that's why we're creating this tool. It's our decision to go ahead to provide something new to win customers.
Yeah, so what decisions are you struggling making? Because it sounds like you've made the decisions.
What kind of decisions? Yeah, I think only decisions about. I think I wrote everything.
Eh, yeah, you're going forwards. I feel like you're making progress.
Yeah.
Where are you struggling? So a practical tip would be you figure out where you're struggling, and usually when you're struggling with
Uh-huh.
making decisions, it's either you're not making a decision that you think you should make, like you feel like you need to make a decision, or you're trying to select between multiple decisions that
Okay.
go in very different directions.
My biggest struggle, I think, like to divide my time, to schedule what I need to do. I think it's the biggest struggle because I cooperate with other people, and sometimes I can't rely on them. Yeah, sometimes I need to do this job myself. Sometimes I can rely. So I think I have many other things. For example, projects that bring uh, revenue results today, but I need to. I mean, like to divide my time between new project that brings nothing but have a good opportunity, and other projects that still bring good money, but I need to divide my time. So can you help me with this, I don't know, struggle?
So if I understand correctly, that you're
Yeah,
trying to figure out how to segment your time, separate your
yeah,
time, invest your
yeah,
time into
exactly,
different
yeah,
projects that you have in front of you.
yeah.
Hmm? So is the issue like what's actually the issue?
Actually, they should to choose priorities. How to choose
Hmm.
these priorities? I mean, like, because it's not like, for example, I remember when Bill Gates said how he can sell two products, A and B. For example, if he invested X amount money to marketing to product A and X amount to product B, if product B sells two times more, then the second time he will invest all money to product B, ignoring product A. But it's this case is different because we have the project that will bring results in the future, not today. So I need to choose priorities. I mean, like, I don't know if it's struggle. I have the struggle, because yeah, many other things to do. So yeah, any tips about that?
Not really tips. We're just talking about decisions. So right now, like what's your ideal? Where do you want to be spending your time?
You know, I love to learn and experiment. Even yeah, I'm going to develop this tool, but personally I love reading books, love walking with my kids, spend time with them. So yeah, but it doesn't bring money at any case. But I think yeah, it's a big struggle to find the time between existing projects, future projects, and family. Yeah.
Hmm. How do you currently manage your time between those?
I try to schedule. I try to schedule, but it doesn't work. So I schedule my time in Google Calendar. Okay, in the morning I can read books, I can read blog posts, I can create content, I can reach out to developers, to speak with designers. So I schedule time, but it never, uh, never works for me. I don't know why. So yeah, because it's hard to predict how long it will take, to handle anything, in my schedule.
So what makes this a decision problem?
What makes decision problem?
Like what makes
I
this specific situation, prioritization, a decision problem?
uh, I think distractions, like probably distractions, probably that I need to handle the process in few directions. Sometimes I can feel that I'm jack of all trades, but yeah, I think yeah, like it's struggle to prioritize time, schedule time, because I can't count how much time I need to specific I don't know deadline product. So for example,
Hmm.
if I'm going to reply to the questions from web developers, I can schedule 20 minutes because it takes 2 hours or 5 minutes. It's a big struggle to schedule this time because it's hard to predict how much time I need. How long does it take? It takes.
So the difficulty is how much time do you spend on the projects that bring you money? How much time do you spend on the projects that are future focused? And then how do you have certain time for family? I guess if you were to prioritize those, what order would you rank them in?
I don't know. If I prioritize,
Family, money projects, or future projects?
yeah,
And
I
learning,
think,
you said learning too. Maybe there's some other
yeah.
categories.
For me, it's more important happiness, if you enjoy the process. So if I skip family, they will kill me, and but I will be unhappy if I skip any project. So I don't know. For example, I spoke with Jeff Coyle on my podcast. He co-founder of Market Muse, and he told me in the future we will have three companies. the first company will create, develop AI. The second company will implement AI, and the third company will be obsolete. Companies that can leave the trade because AI can occupy almost everything. So, yeah, that's why I can't ignore what I'm developing now because AI is the future. I still need to pay attention to something that, yeah, that sells well, and yeah, I love my family. I want to spend time with them. Yeah, I think it's a big struggle. That I think it depends. It's hard to reply to this question. Yeah,
Yeah, I
from
can
personal
tell.
experience.
Well, it would be very hard to prioritize where to spend your time if you don't know how to prioritize them.
I
So,
usually
how
use tools.
what would help you make the decision on what is most important?
Uh, I think internal feeling. It's intuition. It's not like logic. I think that I often see when people get data, but combine data with intuition. So it's not like logic. Okay, I need to do like this because according to calculation, it's more important than others. But yeah, I usually prioritize with intuition because I have this experience. I can feel that it's better to spend time with my family, with this tool, with this project, with my clients. So yeah, it's intuition.
So, where's the problem coming from, by the way? Because I don't want to get too far into to the information before understanding the problem. Is it that your family's getting frustrated with you? Is it that you're not giving time to the projects that bring you money? Is it that you're not giving time to the project for future, for the AI? Where's the issue?
I think the issue, I check out a few good studies, and by the way, I read books about longevity. What makes people happy, and a few places in this world where people can live longer than 100 years. I mean, like the average data in Italy, in Japan, in Costa Rica, in the US, in California, in one place. And what was interesting about this study, people on this area, of course, they eat healthy food, they have clean water, but they usually don't hurry. They don't try to do something today. They have no deadlines. They just enjoy the process, go ahead. And for me, it's important to prioritize my time without having this pressure. When you have this pressure that, okay, if I don't do it, then my competitors can do faster, to overcome it. Because once we created clusterizator tool, we created this tool, we made a big mistake. We tried to monetize from the first day. That was a big mistake because after we failed because people don't know how it works. People don't know about this tool, and after a few, I mean, like, yeah, I think like a few years, many other great tools appealed. So this tool today is free. We share this tool for free because it's hard to compete with big companies that created the same similar tool. And I think like it's pressure. When you have this pressure that you need to do faster than your competitors, I think like it's part of the journey, startup journey, entrepreneurship, because you're not alone. I mean, like what we can see today between ChatGPT, Google, other companies. Yeah, pressure.
So, is the pressure on the new idea, on your current clients,
Pressure
or the family?
to no, it's pressure about the job. I mean,
Yeah.
like to do it faster because if
For
you
what?
uh because if you do it slowly, your competitors can do it faster.
Okay, so it sounds like this is about the new idea because the
Hmm.
competitors can get there faster, and then all of a sudden the new idea doesn't matter,
Hmm.
and that's where the pressure is coming from. By the way, the pressure is coming from you. You feel the pressure.
Yeah, I know.
Mm, You're creating the pressure because you want something more than you currently have,
Hmm.
and it's this
Interesting.
product. So you have a couple choices based on that.
Hmm.
You can either forget about the pressure, believe there's no rush, not compete against other people, and do what you need to do
Yeah.
for yourself. Or you focus on the pressure and you say, this is the most important thing that we have to bring to market. How much time can I dedicate it to it and keep my life the way that it is and still give my clients what they need? Because what you're telling me is that the issue with prioritization is more so that you feel you're not moving fast enough.
Hmm. Yeah.
So now,
I love
now
it.
we have the issue, and how do you make the decision now based on the fact that the only reason why you feel like you need to prioritize is because you feel that there's a time crunch for
Hmm.
the new idea.
Hmm. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's like, for example, now, what I found, I had bad habit to overwatch TV. That was bad habit. Right now I over read books, because I love it more. But people still have bad habits. They know about these bad habits. For example, someone can smoke, I don't know, junk food, anything. Yeah, we have these bad habits, and knowing doesn't help to decide. For example, if someone is smoking, yeah, these people keep smoking. So, and can you tell how to replace? For example, okay, I know bad habits. I know I have this pressure created by myself. Of course, it's better to enjoy, to go ahead. Okay, if I fail many times. That's okay. One more time. If I win, yeah, because I working hard to that. So, can you tell about replacing bad habits to good habits in decision making process?
This is a very big question because we make decisions based on sometimes our habits, right? Our bad habits, and I don't call them bad, is they're habits that we have. They're only not the best habits if we want something different. So if you would prefer to spend more time in other areas of your life, learning with family and fitness, whatever it is, instead of feeling pressure about new ideas, about making some big thing, then I would say, okay, so spending time on the big thing, feeling the pressure from the big thing, that probably isn't your preferred decision because you want something else. But it
Hmm.
sounds like you want this big thing to work. You want this new project to win. And so it's not a bad habit. It's something that you want to invest time in. The pressure is good. The pressure is telling you that you need to invest more time. Great. It's keeping you on track. And so it really depends on if this individual really wants to stop watching TV and read more books. And the decision that they constantly make is to watch TV instead of read a book, because then it takes time to change that specific habit, which is a program in our mind. Because when we watch TV, we feel good, and we read a book, we don't. But then when we don't read a book and we watch TV, we feel bad. And so all of a sudden we feel good and we feel bad. So we watch more TV to feel good because that's what makes us feel good. And so it's a much bigger conversation than right now. What you have to do is you have to explore your motivations.
Hmm.
You have to figure out ways to dive into the true meaning behind the decision that you want to make and connect with that. And then there's different strategies you could use. You can get an accountability buddy. You can throw out your TV. If you don't have TV in the house, it's very hard to watch TV. I'm not kidding. You make it easy for yourself to do the right thing. People ask me, they say, Ben, how do you have such great willpower? How do you? And I go, I don't have great willpower, and make it easy for me to make the decisions I want to make. Put me
Yeah.
in a place where it's easy to make bad decisions. A lot of people will make bad decisions.
It's interesting. In my apartment, I don't have TV. I have no TV. Yeah, we rent a new apartment, and we decided why we need to fight with the habit to watch TV. Just don't have TV. It's enough. Like as you mentioned, throw away this TV. Yeah, and you don't need to fight. You have no the struggle.
If you empty out my refrigerator and my cabinets and all you put in them are
Yeah.
Twinkies, and then you lock me in my house, eventually I'm going to eat a Twinkie. I don't eat them now. I don't want to eat them. I wouldn't buy them. I wouldn't have, but I'm going to get hungry enough.
Hmm.
I'm going to eat one. And I think if we want to change our habits from our decisions, ask yourself, how do I make it easy for myself, as easy as possible, to make decisions? Because then if you make the decision over and over again, that decision becomes a habit. And
Nice.
eventually, if we have a habit, it's easier then to be committed to that decision. So now, for example, you don't have TV in the house. Maybe you get a TV, and it's going to be easier for you not to watch it. But then if the TV's always around you and you're
Yeah.
tired, and all of a sudden you watch TV one time a week, then all of a sudden now that becomes a choice that you're making, and then you're more likely to watch TV again in the future. So we're very simple creatures. We have to create a
Yeah.
life around us that serves the decisions we want to make.
Valuable. Okay, Dr. Benjamin, I want to ask you about common mistakes. Can you list mistakes that C executives still do in the process of decision making, and your tips how to find a much better way?
I'll just list off a couple because there's probably a lot more than what I'm going to list right now. So one thing is executives, they assume that the people around them know how to do the work or know what they're thinking. A lot of times an assumption. And what I highly recommend, and I work with my executive clients, is how to give direct feedback and how to always say what's on your mind instead of to think the person understands, because everyone around you thinks differently than you. I think the statistic is 33% of people in front of you actually think like you. And that is a big that is a big difference. And so when you talk to people about what's happening and you're giving specific feedback, or you're trying to help them figure out work that you've assigned them to do, you have to make sure that they understand, so you can ask them what they know. So tell them, basically ask them to give you to teach back what you've taught them. But also, if there's something that you think they need to know but you're assuming that they know it, don't assume, instead tell them. So be very specific, give an actual example, ask them to see if they understand, and then if they need to alter their behavior, ask them for a different behavior. But ultimately, assuming is one of the worst mistakes that executives tend to make when it comes to decision making.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you can't rely on your team, then you need to find someone who don't create this feeling, because I see when companies are looking for for jack of all trades who can do almost everything. For example, on LinkedIn, I check out SEO requirements. Companies want to get specialists who can create content, post content, advertise content, create design, development, even keyword research. You need to pay attention on one specific direction. Yeah, that is why it's better to I usually spend time by learning myself. If I want to implement something new, I spend time by do this. I fail all the time. Fail. For example, when I started PR, I failed a lot, but I learned how it works. Then I decided to find PR specialists who can create, the right PR campaigns, because I understand the process. Yeah, I think it's more important to think about hiring the right people. And I wanna ask you about the question that is not related to our conversation, but anyway, we live in the world with AI. So, your thoughts about AI and how AI can help today see executives to get better results?
Oof. Well, using AI to get better results. Uh, you know, I'm a little concerned with how we're using it right now, but if anyone's wondering about how they need to work with AI isn't probably going to replace your job, but the people that know how to use AI are going to replace your job. So as a leader, it's best for you to stay up to date on what's happening in the market and to make sure that your team understands how to utilize AI to support their work. But I don't think we've seen a very brief glimpse of what AI can do. And so I just would say you should be dedicating at least a little bit of time in your week to read articles, to test out tools, to not be afraid of it, and to just try to stay on top of how the market is changing. And we're going to see very, very soon I think some much more drastic changes than we've seen from the abilities of AI.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Just spend time to learn to play with prompts. Yeah, you can get great results because, uh, yeah, I check out a few studies that most people still don't use this tool. In marketing,
Yeah,
in
they don't even know
accounting.
it exists. Some of them.
Oh yeah, my two brothers, they have great revenue, awesome revenue. But I asked them about ChatGPT, about AI. They told me they don't know about this tool. So I spent time to teach them because I think AI can replace many specialists in accounting. Because this tool can calculate all this data. You know, it uh, if it this tool can't do it today, in the future, 100% we will see. Uh, and my final question about your experience. I found that I usually get great results with clients who understand SEO. So if they understand, then we can cooperate together like a cohesive team. For example, we know why we need to create high quality content, what kind of content can sell products, how to provide white hat SEO, link building, PR. So we understand each other. If they don't, I usually tell them, take my course, learn from Lily Ray, Jeff Coyle, Mike Phillips, many great experts. It costs like $10, $20. It's not my business model to earn money with this course, but you can understand the basic, how it works. So we can cooperate together. And I found many times, if you don't understand what you want to get, any expert can help you. So can you tell, if you started today from scratch without any experience, knowledge, skills, what will you do today to learn more about your occupation and decision making struggles?
Well, I'd hire you, right? I'd take your course. So I would take your
My course
course to
about
learn,
SEO.
yep, SEO to make sure that I
Yeah.
could get some traffic. Honestly, I would not try to take any shortcuts. Honestly, this is kind of how I did it. And I would do the work myself, roll up my sleeves like I did, and learn what worked, what didn't work, what my client needed, what they didn't need, what they were buying, what they didn't like. And that level of knowledge, the fact that I went through the business books, the fact that I learned how to market and to write content and to structure programs, and I tried things and it didn't work, it made me be able to do anything today. I could launch a new product tomorrow because I have that initial knowledge. And so you see a lot of entrepreneurs that will hire out a lot of their services. I say don't hire them out immediately. Spend at least a month or 2 or 3 months learning the nuts and bolts of your industry and then do it, because don't rush. I'd say that honestly is what I would probably recommend. But then what I would do differently, then hire somebody. And that I didn't do. Then
Yeah.
outsource, because I think what I did was I waited way too long bootstrapping when there are a lot of services out there that big companies are using that you just can't compete with. You can't compete against a lot of the automation and the AI that's out there. If you want to hit the market and build credibility and trust and get the quantity that you need to scale, especially a service-based business, you need to hire some of that stuff out and get some of your time back.
Yeah. I love it. I agree. Because you can't beat experts who spend time, many years to learn about that, to have practical experience, but you can understand the basic and you can understand these people and why you need to implement. If you want to implement close to 100%, just learn a little bit. But if you wanna waste like 60%, for example, if companies, I don't know, pay like $10,000 for consultancy, 6,000 are wasted because they don't implement. They don't. Yeah, I agree. Dr. Benjamin, it's a big pleasure to get my show, to learn from you. I love this experience, fun conversation. Tell our audience the best way how to keep learning from you, how to follow you, how to reach out to you.
Yeah, please go to liveforyourselfconsulting.com. You go to liveforyourselfconsulting.com, you can sign up for your free guide, The 5 Secrets to Creating a Fulfilling Career. And if you really like what you're hearing, just connect with me on LinkedIn too. I post a ton there, and I read and respond to everyone that reaches out and connects with me.
Nice, nice. Guys, you can find the links to the website and LinkedIn account in the description below. Listen us on Apple, Google, Spotify. Thanks again for your time. Love it. So valuable. I'm going to implement, especially I won't rush. I decided to
Or
quit with
rush.
that.
If you want to be first, if it's more important than anything, then prioritize it. But if not, you create your own timeline.
Yeah, I love marathon. Sprint, it's not for me. Okay, okay, guys, thanks a lot for listening and watching us.